Hi guys, in this video I'll give an introduction to strings in C++. So I talk about these 5 things here. We'll cover to get the number of characters in a string, then how to access individual characters in a string, then how to compare strings, how to modify strings, and some of the additional string functions. So when we work with strings, the first thing that we want to do is use the preprocessor directive and include string. Now we can use strings here. Let's create a variable. I call it str. And this is a variable of type string. Now essentially strings or string is a class. So it is not one of the primitive data types like integer, float, double, and so on. A string is a class, and what that means is when we're creating a variable here, we essentially have an object of the class. And without going into object-oriented programming at this point, what we know is that this variable has data and it has functions, which we'll cover in step 5 here and a little bit in step 1. Now let's initialize this. Let's say we have the string hello. And now we could just treat it, we could output it with cout, just like any other variable. We can read a string from the command line. And what we can do as well is, because we know it's an object, we know it has functions. So this is step 1 here. Let's say we want to get the number of characters in that string. We can do str dot, and this is special to objects, and we get a bunch of functions that we can call. So we have the length function here, so str.length, and for any string object that we create, whenever we call .length, this will give us the number of characters. So here we have hello, this should give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's output this. Str has, and then here I output the number of characters. And run this program. So this one gives us hello has 5 characters. So this, whenever you want to know the number of characters in a string, use the .length function. Next, step 2, access individual characters. So we know a string is a sequence of characters, and internally, essentially, it's an array of characters. So what we can do is we can use array syntax to access individual characters. So let's say I want to get the 3rd character here. I do str, and I can add 2. So the 3rd character would be at index 2. So index 1 would be h, index 0 would be h, index 1 would be e, and then index 2 would be l, which is our 3rd character. So we can just pass in the index here with the brackets, and that gives us the character at that index. And for example, we can use that in a loop. Now if we combine the first 2 steps here, we can write a for loop in I equals 0, because we start at the character at index 0. I is less than string.length, so less than the total number of characters, and I++, and then I just output the characters here. So this is an example how I can access each character, and maybe I want to search for a specific character in the string. I could use the loop like this and then access the character at I. So this would access at the first iteration of the loop, access the character at 0, then we'll increment, access the character at 1, and so on. So to demonstrate this, here we can see it. So first I is 0, we get H, I is 1, we get E, I is 2, we get L, L, and O. Now, next we will compare strings. So let's say we have 2 variables here, S1, which is hello, and string s2, which is goodbye. So if we want to compare the two strings, we can use the comparison operators, such as s1 is less than s2, to lexicographically compare the strings. And what this will do is it will actually go through each character of each string and compare the character at that index to the character at the same index in the other string. So let's just do s1 is before s2. And then here we do else if s1 is after s2. We output s1 is after s2. And then last, otherwise, this one is if s1 equals s2, we know they are the same. Now let's run this and see what we get, and then we step through why we get the result. So here we get s1 is after s2. So what this comparison operator does is it'll check the character at h. So it starts with the first character, compares h to g. Now they're different already. So h in the alphabet, h is after g. So that is why s1 will be after g. It won't compare anything else. Now if I had he, let's just leave it he goodbye, it will compare h in s1 to h in s2. They are the same, so it'll continue to the next character, compare e in s1 to e in s2. They are the same as well. Then it'll move on to l, compare l to g, and so L comes after G. It would still say S1 is after S2. So it'll essentially go through the entire string until it finds one that is after or before in the alphabet, and then it'll output the result. Or if they are all the same, it'll output that. Now, it does distinguish between lowercase and uppercase. So here if I put, let's say we put hello lowercase and hello uppercase, S1 will be after, because the uppercase characters come before the lowercase characters. So next, we want to see how we can modify strings. So let's say we have the two characters here, the two strings S1 and S2. And we create a new string combined. What we can do is S1 plus S2, for example. So we can use the plus operator to concatenate strings. And what this will do is it'll give us a new string that essentially consists of all the characters that we found in both of the strings. Just like we add the one string, we append the second string to the first string. So here we get a new string that is hello lowercase, hello uppercase. So if we ever have multiple strings that we want to combine, we can just do plus plus plus. Now important is if the characters hold numbers such as 5 and 7, it will concatenate it. It will not do any arithmetic operations on it. And the last, string functions. So any string has a lot of functions. For example, we can see here append, assign, clear, begin, erase, so insert. So for any special operation that we want to do is, you can check what function exists, and there are plenty of them, as you can see. And there's probably a function that you will find that suits the purpose that you need to accomplish. One of them, for example, if we want to find a specific character in the string, or we want to find a subsequence, let's say we want to check, does our string contain LO? We do string.find, This one has LO. I think we have it in here. Yeah, this is our string hello. Let me actually reassign it here. So we have the string hello and we look for LO. Now we see that it exists at the end of the string. What the find function does is it'll go through the string and then check if the sequence of characters exists in the string. If it exists, it returns the starting index of it. If it doesn't exist, it would return -1. So let's output this here. Let's say let's output it here. LO exist at index, and then we output the index. In, and then we output here the string. So I use the escape sequence to output the quotes, and then at the end the line break. So here we get LO exist at index 3 in hello. And then when we double check, index 1 is the H, then E is index H is at index 0, and then index 1 is E, and first L is at index 2, and the second L is at index 3, and this is where our sequence starts. Now if I would put something in, let's say GO, and run this, we would get -1 because it doesn't exist in the string. If we put hello, this would give us index 0. And then if I search for hello, hello, it would give us -1 because it just cannot find this string in it. It searches basically for the full word in it, and this doesn't exist. So this is an example of a string function that is provided. There are plenty of other string functions, so you can find them online, but this demonstrates the example. Thank you for watching.